the guru of Squad 00, the assassin like no other. Yes, I'm the best at what I do. It's here to bring you my thoughts on the legend of Korra. I won't even say Avatar, because he doesn't deserve that title. But before I go into that, for the longest time, now this video's been a while coming, okay? I didn't know that the YouTube anime and manga community would attach itself, adopt, if you will, a liking so heavily for the Legend of Korra. Now, of course, it is the pseudo-sequel, and I say pseudo-sequel because it's not truly a sequel. It's kind of, sort of supposed to be a sequel, but whatever, of Avatar: The Last Airbender, a series I absolutely love. Absolutely love. Considering Toph, and I'll probably mention this again later in the video, but Toph is my most relatable character as far as an anime and manga is concerned, as well as she's one of my top 10 favorite characters in anime and manga. I don't care that people say Avatar was not, it's not an anime, it's an anime. It's anime style, it's a lot of elements like anime, it's anime. It's just American made, whatever. Regardless of all that, I know a lot of people are mad in the anime. I know a lot of dudes review it. Now, I know Louis Senpai, for example, he's done reviews I've seen. You got Sawyer 7 Mage. I have mad respect for both of them. Shout out to both of them. Charles is Anime World. I think Charles still reviewing it, if I'm not mistaken. But I know he's one of them that's been mad heavy about trying to push me and get me in the corner. And I'm like, no, I don't vibe with Korra. And I've kind of hinted at the reasons as to why. He doesn't really get it, but it is what it is. He likes Korra. Hey, people like what they like. Look, if you like what you like, I ain't knock you for like what you like. I may clown on a few folks, depending on what it is, but I ain't gonna knock it. That's what you like. As long as it's not harmful to anybody, stuff along those lines. I mean, I can understand some of the reasons as to why people like Legend of Korra. I really do. The animation's done well, to say the least. I mean, it's a female protagonist, right? It got some of the reoccurring old, lovable characters you fell in love with, right? It's got this whole concept of an expansion on metal bending, on blood bending, other elements, some politics and whatnot. It has elements which I understand what people can thoroughly enjoy. But I have several problems with Legend of Korra, especially when I compare it to its predecessor, Avatar: The Last Airbender. First and foremost is the character of Korra herself. Now, I ain't gonna front. I was stoked. I was hyped when I heard that a female protagonist was gonna be. Even though I kind of wish that it would be me having an adult and we get a follow up with that. I like, we gonna get something new. Now again, I was hearing like this was supposed to be like 100 years later, so I didn't expect. To me, it wasn't a sequel. But regardless to that, I wasn't. I'll get to it in a second, but I was hyped. Like, I'm like, yo, female protagonist. Now, I'll get to a comparisons with Aang in a minute, but you gotta understand this. I've said this time and time again. I love phenomenal, badass, beastly female characters. I do. And so I'm like, alright. But then I come to find out Korra is someone I don't like. Now, remember what I said about Toph? And Toph had phenomenal characterization and character development. But Toph was also a secondary character. Not the protagonist. She was not the lead. She didn't, the story didn't more or less revolve around her. So we got her sparingly, especially along the line. She didn't join till book 2, like midway? Was it about midway through book 2? I can't remember. But anyway, she joined around midway through the series. So we didn't have to deal with her the entire time. This female Korra, she is spoiled in the beginning of the series. And look, I'll say it. I saw a few episodes here and there. When it comes to Avatar, okay, The Last Airbender, I could watch standalone episodes. Like, even my older brother, and I wasn't originally going to get into the series, but the series was that fire. Even my older brother, who's very legit when it comes to shows, he liked it. It was a show for all ages. Legend of Korra didn't give me that. I tried watching a few episodes. I could not get into the show. And when when so many people were down season 1 and season 2, even if you have season 3 and season 4, you can't make up for that. You can't make up for the crap. Why should I continue a show that's first 2 seasons are subpar at best? You understand what I'm saying? Well, back to Korra as a character. She was annoying to me. She was too headstrong. She was supposed to have mastered. She was supposed to only need to learn one bending style. She acted like she didn't master none. Like, she just focused on water. Couldn't have made her older then? It's not like she's journeying and learning like Aang did, and he had to do a rush job either. That's another thing. Aang was put under a deadline and put under that pressure. There was the world building, and I'm not saying that Legend of Korra does not have world building, but when it comes to Avatar: The Last Airbender, they were traveling, they were learning new people, and was experiencing new cultures. You know what I'm saying? It was a divided world. This was supposed to be a unified city, and the focus was supposed to be on the city. Now, it could have been great with politics, but the thing is, that wasn't the focus of the first couple seasons. It was not the focus. There was no politics. It was they tried to make it child friendly, but at the same time, they tried to, I don't know, go to a teenage audience. I don't know what they were doing. What they did just failed. Their focus, I don't know what their focus was. Okay, again, the world building, because since it was kept a lot in one city, Republic City, world building, you're going to have to go in deep with that setting. They elected not to do that. At least to the best of my understanding of the series, right? You had, like I said, they had a few interesting concepts and expansions, which is good. Applaud them for it. But coming out the gate, why is Korra not learning these advanced techniques? She's given like this special status as the Avatar, and while Aang, he was hunted. Like, it wasn't good. Like, he was the hope, but he was hunted. Like, it was like a lot of life and death. Korra, like, she got captured at one point, and she was clearly beaten by this bloodbender. She wasn't high class. You could say, well, maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I was. Maybe maybe the improper age that they had her cocky attitude. She thought she can just run up in a place and think she boss like that, facing off against these top tier benders. You didn't see that happen with Aang and his crew. And the thing is, with the comedy, man, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, you had spontaneous comedy. It was a lot of comedy based on relationships, or Sokka trying to, cheer people up. From Korra, it almost a lot of times felt like forced comedy. Okay? It felt like you just had like a comedic relief character, a character to crack the jokes, but it didn't feel natural. You understand what I'm saying? Not only that, you had these extensions, these lineages, more focused. While with Avatar: The Last Airbender, the relationships and bonds that were developed, you bonded with the characters. In A Legend of Korra, there was already these pre-established relationships, so you don't have as much bonding time. Sometimes there were some relationships that were built, along the way. I'm not saying there were none, but everything with Avatar was just brand new. It was fresh. This dude came back from it was this, fantasy, mythical kind of, vibe, but it was mixed with realism at the same time. Okay? With Korra, they tried to make it very realistic. Even the way that they animated some of the scenes with CGI and all that, they tried to make it so realistic, but it took away from the appreciation of the fantasy elements. Okay, when you look at it, what else to say? Oh yeah, one of the things that people, they were mad thirsty when it came to Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was about the story. Pure and simple. People enjoyed it because of the character, the characterization, character development, the story, the world building, just all the great elements. Legend of Korra, a lot of dudes are in there because they're thirsty as a mug. Let's be real. The thirst was mad heavy. The thirst was heavy. I saw so many bikini shots of Korra, and then that one other chick, that friend, she had a love triangle. I'll get into that, to the relationships as far as the dating love kind of thing. With the love triangle, and then there was the hentai, and all the nude, and yeah, that seems what dudes were into. Well, you can't really do that with Aang. It was like 12, 13, 16, you know what I'm saying, like 12, 13 years old. But when it came to relationships, it was like this love triangle. What were we doing? A soap opera? A soap opera? Really? When it came to Avatar: The Last Airbender, Aang was trying to get with Katara, excuse me. Yeah, it's been a while, y'all. Aang was trying to get with Katara, and he genuinely liked her, right? And she eventually grew to, it went from different roles, kind of motherly, and they developed a relationship over time. Ahsoka, Toph seemed like she liked him. And Toph I could relate because she never really was able to get. She was young, but 12, 13 years old, around the same age as Aang, 11, 12 years old. But she never was able to, find with somebody. But it was Ahsoka. He kind of fell for with the one painted faces girl. Yeah, and all the friendships fighting through. You had the big sister role with Katara and Toph. And they were clashing, and it was interesting because of the dynamic. Each of the main cast, Aang, Katara, Toph, and Ahsoka, and eventually Zuko. Oh, Zuko. I can talk about Zuko in a minute, but each of the main cast, they fit their elements so well. Their life, the philosophies that affected the ideologies, and as well as their maturity throughout the series was phenomenal. I don't think I had seen that for the entire series. I literally blitzed through the series. Now, Zuko. Zuko is one of the main reasons why Avatar: The Last Airbender is so good. Aang was good, but he's not my favorite. Let's see, it's first Toph, then Zuko, then Aang. I think those are my top 3 in the series. Of course, you have Iroh, unforgettable, Fire Lord Ozan, you had Azula, you had just the memorable characters. With Zuko, with the flame, one of the greatest anti-heroes, easily one of the greatest anti-heroes ever. This dude in his struggle, at times, Zuko as the Deuteragonist was, as is the case with Killer Zodiac and Hunter x Hunter, as well as Uchiha Sasuke and Naruto. Not so much in Yu Yu Hakusho. But anyways, the Deuteragonist took over the story at times, and the focus on Zuko and understanding him, and then his connections with the acrobatic chick, with the who else was it? Mai acrobatic. I know she was acupuncture. And Azula, his relationship with his sister, his battle, and Katara and him, Fire, the history of the war, the history that was built, and then eventually those two were the one that actually defeated Azula together. Oh man, just absolutely well done. We got a blooming story. It was a steady opening story. That's how it was built. The structure was on point. When it came to Korra, Legend of Korra, the structure, it was rushed at the beginning, so the structure was all kinds of thrown off. The history was thrown in later. You could see that the series was not supposed to be long, so it's been elongated, okay? what else is it that I don't like about the series? My problem with the series. I mean, those are my main issues. Anything else do I have to say at this time? Also, there was characters. I mean, you have the previous characters, and we didn't see Aang, Guitar, whatever. He's supposed to be dead, right? Certain characters living on. I want to spoil, but Toph is apparently still alive or whatnot. But characters, and like I said, standalone episodes. So don't like, oh, you ain't seen the whole. No, with Avatar, how I got into the series is because I saw standalone episodes in different books. You understand what I'm saying? And it was just whoa. But when it came to Legend of Korra, I just watched, and it was like the interest level. It was slowly, the pacing was slow. The thing about Avatar, what they did, they balanced the episodic nature of it along with the overall plot. It's kind of, they do it very well how The Blacklist does it, how Game of Thrones does it, how even though Game of Thrones is built based on the books, how Gotham does it, how Sons of Anarchy, and other little series. I'm just naming recent ones. They did the balance was pretty beautiful there. When it came to Legend of Korra, the pacing was just slow at the beginning of the series. It was just slow. It felt drag. You understand? The battles, I don't know. It seemed for the most part the fighting was more fluid. Earlier on in Avatar: Last Airbender, at least from my perspective. Okay, you can have a different one, of course. But what else? It's just the Legend of Korra. It just did not live up to when you have such a legend. It's like Rocky and Rocky 2. Rocky 2 is better than Rocky. When you have such a phenomenal revolution, when you have a harkening back, heralding back to the old school cartoons, and then you have something that's kind of sort of modern, but it just doesn't fulfill. It doesn't fulfill the successor role. You're just left disappointed massively. I know I'm not the only one that was massively left disappointed and say it sucks, because if it's supposed to be a sequel, it doesn't execute properly enough to be a sequel of such a phenomenal series. Okay? When I look at Legend of Korra, it has potential. Sure, it has some good. I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm not saying it's trash. But compared to Avatar: The Last Airbender, it sucks. And this is clearly not a nostalgia factor. Just pure comparison. Just pure, when you look at the elements, look at the memorable things, the target, you could say it was targeted at kids, but it did like Lion King did. It had deeper stuff. It did what the great stories do. It has deeper elements. Okay? You could feel for Aang. I mean, his learning from the rule, for example. The ideological and philosophical, the psychological things. I remember Toph and Toph get her feet burned, and just Iroh and the talks. And I mean, then you had the White Lotus Society coming in, just throwing that little wrinkle in there on some Freemason. Some people say Freemason, or some other party kind of stuff. Unification. These ideals, can they be implanted into the world? This divided world of benders, divided on bending. And again, I know Legend of Korra has some of these elements, and it takes it in its own unique direction. And it does, execute in certain regards. But from my perspective, and I don't bring in too many expectations to a series. I come in open, but it just did not fulfill the satisfaction. Even as a standalone series, if I exclude it from Avatar: The Last Airbender, the character of Korra. Now, while protagonists are not the end-all be-all for me, they play a massive role. If the protagonist sucks or is subpar, average at best, that's not gonna bode well for me with a series. It's just not. It's a turn-off. Okay? But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Unexpected one to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, y'all have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace.